The shares of Vertex are rallying today on the FDA approval of this painkiller. Our Angelica Peebles is here with the company CEO, first on CNBC. Morning, Angelica.
Morning, Carl. Yeah, I'm really excited to introduce Dr. Reshma Kewalramani. She is the CEO of Vertex, like you said. And Reshma, thanks for joining us this morning. We've been talking about this for a long time, and I know that you're really excited about this drug, Journavx, and Journavx, excuse me. And you know, there's this debate, though, about how much impact this drug can really have because it's more expensive than some of the other painkillers that are on the market, and it didn't show to be more expensive or more effective, excuse me, than an opioid. So where do you see this drug fitting in, and how are you going to get people to actually use it?
Good morning, Angela. It's really great to see you. It is a big day for patients, for society, and for Vertex. This drug, Journavx, is the first new class of pain medicines in more than 20 years. And what a class of pain medicines it is. It only works on the peripheral system, the peripheral nervous system. That's to say it doesn't work in the brain. It doesn't work on those reward centers that lead to addiction. It is a non-opioid. It has been shown to be effective. It's shown to be well tolerated. And this feature of it working in the peripheral nervous system allows it to not have addictive potential. This is the kind of medicine we have been seeking to develop, and I think it's the kind of medicine society wants to be able to use for moderate to severe acute pain. So it is a very important medicine.
Right, but how do you anticipate overcoming some of those concerns about how effective it is and also the cost?
Let's go to how effective it is, and then let's get to cost. The issue with the opioid pain medicines is not lack of efficacy. They're actually very efficacious. The problem is safety concerns, tolerability concerns, and the addictive potential. And then let's get to cost. When we talk about the cost of opioids, it's not the cost of the prescription per se. Those are cheap. Unfortunately, the cost of opioids is to the patient, to their families, and to society. There is this raging opioid epidemic that I know you and your colleagues have covered. 80 million Americans seek a prescription for acute pain. 40 million of those Americans get a prescription for an opioid when they come in with acute pain. And that's because we don't have many alternatives when a patient comes in with moderate to severe acute pain, whether it's after a surgery or it's after a fall or a sprain or a sports injury. Now we have this medicine that is safe, it's effective, and it doesn't have this addictive potential because of the mechanism of action.
Dr. Kramer, when we had you on last, I had such great hopes, and I thought that maybe it wouldn't happen. So congratulations. I know this took a lot of perseverance. When you speak with Chris Berner at Bristol Myers with Cobenfy on schizophrenia, when we talked to you about this, are we talking about the possibility of a major public policy shift where the mayors of the country, the state, the governors of the country realize this is the way that we deal with the transient problem, the homelessness problem? Because these are the two ways of addiction that have turned our country upside down. Do you think that the people in Washington understand how you could change the game for millions of Americans who live on streets or marginal because of opioid?
I really do, Jim. So there's two things to think about when you think about the problem with opioids in America. Part of it is people who are unfortunately addicted by way of drugs that they are using in other formats. However, some of the opioid epidemic comes from the start with a prescription for a pain medicine. In fact, 85,000 people that we talked about from the 40 million who use opioids for acute pain, 85,000 people end up having what's called OUD, or opioid use disorder. In that group of people who are getting prescription for opioids, now we have an alternative. That alternative is Journavx. It's a medicine that doesn't have this addictive potential. And I do think the administrations at the city level, at the state level, and at the federal level understand this deeply because they're feeling the ravages of the opioid epidemic in their communities. I'll give you one example. Something called the No Pain Act has already passed Congress, December 2022. There are other measures being considered by state and federal governments. 15 states have already passed some amount of legislation to limit the use of opioids. And 7 states have already put into place some important policies so that non-opioids have at least parity access. These are important measures.
And the bigger problem, though, of course, is chronic pain. And that's something where we still really don't have good options. I know you're working there, but it's been a little bit of a rocky road. So do you think that we'll see this drug used in chronic pain? And if so, when?
Yeah, it's an excellent question, Angela. And you're right. We're still working on chronic pain. This approval today for Journavx is for acute pain. Our programs for peripheral neuropathic pain, particularly in diabetic peripheral neuropathy, are underway. It's in phase 3 development. And you're also right. We have more work to do there. There's another significant number of patients that we want to help, that we seek to help, that we believe we can help, but we're not there just yet. Today is about acute pain.